Hey everyone, welcome to I Totally Love It. My name is Susan, and today I'm working on episode 79 of Junk Journal Sketches. If you're new here, we take a card making or scrapbooking layout or sketch and we use it in our junk journals. Alright, so the sketch for today comes from Page Maps, their Card Maps archive from April 2022. And as you can see, it's square shape. You don't have to make your square though. This would be a good time to make a twinchie if you want to make something that small. That's 2 by 2. An ink box, which is 3 by 3, um, or larger. So I actually just took a 3 by 5 index card and trimmed off a piece. So I'm going to try a ink box, and I've got a 4 by 4. This was just 4 by 6 index card and just trimmed off that piece on the end. All right, so it looks like you've got a paper in the background. It could be any kind of paper you want it to be. It could even be your substrate. So maybe you're just starting with a piece of scrapbook paper or digital or, let's see, these are the Tim Holtz wallpaper things. What are they called? Scraps, wallpaper scraps. And be book page. It could be a piece of masterboard you've already made. Anything you want it to be. And then on top of that, that's kind of made like into your frame there. You're going to have, looks like 2 different pieces of paper, two different patterns. And then you're going to have this little banner strip here. It could be washi tape, it could be ribbon, rickrack. Maybe you have the little book page edges and you've stamped on them. It could be that. And then on top of that, this has a floral, but whatever your project you're working on, find some die cut or a sticker, something that fits there. And it says sentiment up here. You don't even have to put that if you don't want to. You can put a label up there. You can decide you want the label down here. And you may want this little flower thing to be a little bit bigger. So this is just your map, and you decide if you want to follow all the roads or not. All right, guys. So I'm going to try to make a ink box and a 4 by 4. I do have a scrap of the Tim Holtz wallpaper. I use this. You haven't seen the video if you're watching this the day this video comes out on Sunday. This project will be out on Tuesday. But I use a piece of this in my Junk Journal Madness journal, and this thing we're making today is going to go in there. That's a piece of cardstock, some scrapbook papers I used also in that same project, and then tomorrow on Monday's mass making, MS for Mondays, I use these digitals, and these are what's left, so I may use some of that as well. See what kind of all goes together and what doesn't, and go from there. I did pull out a few pieces of lacy trim there, and I have some digitals cut. Like you could use this heart. I don't know if I want to. So I have some digitals I could fussy cut. I also have from that Tim Holtz wallpaper scrap thing. It has all these little florals like this. This will be a little too big for my project, but there are small ones in here. But of course I want roses, so and then you could even use this for the little strip, and you don't have to banner the edges if you don't want to. You do what you want. You do what looks good for your project. Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy some tunes, and let's get cracking. All right, guys, I love how they turned out. So we'll talk about this first one. I didn't measure this one, so it's the little pink paper, so it's a little off, but that's all right. Um, I used a little bit of lace. This was the best thing to put on there since I used the lace, and that's not flat. It's a little raised. I use that little chipboard piece. Those are from Simple Stories from the Simple Vintage Indigo Garden kit. I didn't really care for is it always and forever. I didn't want it to say that, so practice kindness since uh, that's what we're doing this month, anyways. And then this little 3x3 ink box. I used a little stamp strippy bit there and that digital. I think it turned out great. So there you go. And then you can make these journal cards, or you can make them, if you glue them on two sides, little corner tucks, or like an up tuck or a bottom tuck. All right, guys, I appreciate you and your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.